Are you ready to challenge yourself and think bigger? I'm your host, Marianne Marchesi, and together we'll hear the unfiltered, unscripted stories of those who've taken big risks and transformed their bold ideas into reality. Season 2 is brought to you by multi-award-winning law firm Legalite, where bold ideas thrive. My guest today is Greg Rips, the founder of Third Wave BBQ. Greg didn't come from hospitality, he came from property and marketing, and in 2010 he opened a small café in Melbourne with no kitchen pedigree. That café turned into one of Melbourne's cult American barbecue destinations, smoking close to 4 tons of meat a week, inventing dishes so over the top that people now just call them a bit third wave, and has attracted a social media following of over 4 million people. He's since grown the brand across Melbourne and into Perth, and he's taking it global through franchising. Greg, I'm so happy to have you here. Welcome to Bold Ideas.
Thank you.
You opened Third Wave as a cafe in Melbourne with no hospitality background at all, having come from property and marketing. Tell me a bit about your backstory and what made you go into hospitality.
It was a property development company that we operated, and that sort of blew up and left me with nothing to do. I've asked my wife, so what do we do now? Because there's lots of spare time, and I'm not used to spare time. I'm used to work 7 days a week. So she said she always wanted a cafe. So I said, why not? I've been to cafes. I've eaten from cafes.
I eat food.
Theoretically, that should give me enough knowledge to. Well, I was wrong on every count, so I was complete incorrect assumptions at that time. But we opened one. It was little. It was a 35-seat cafe, and my wife was involved in it initially, and it was sort of her baby. I was in the background, but me being in the background, I sort of didn't want to keep it small. So I started thinking, what do we do? How do we build it? After I got over the shock of what hospitality really looks like from the inside, because it was nothing like, and still nothing like anything else that I've seen in my business experience. But we got over that, and we started sort of growing it, and then we started doing American BBQ for dinner, and it sort of went from there.
Oh, wow. And what prompted you to do American BBQ for dinner?
So the story there is that we opened as a normal cafe, closing at 3. So usually morning to, we couldn't even open at night because we didn't have the planning permission. So it took us 2 years and VCAT conversations to actually convince them to let us open. So 2 years later, we were able to open. And at that point, what do we do? And I've been watching all of these TV shows on Foxtel about American BBQ, which I've never tried up to that point in time, where people try it and their eyes roll back in their head. They like it so much. I've never tried it. So all I saw was their reaction. I said, well, that's interesting. There was nothing else in Melbourne at that time. There was only one venue in Melbourne that was selling it. And that was 2013, I think. There were also no skill set in Melbourne to actually create it. There were no chefs that knew how to do American BBQ at that point in time. And I thought, instead of doing something that's already been done, we need to do something different. This looks like a good different. But I had to basically work out every recipe from blogs, YouTube, recipe books, and lots of trial and error until I'm not a chef. I have never been one and never will be. I like eating. That sort of probably gave me enough reason to try a few 100 kilos of meat, trying to work out how do we do it. But I worked it out, I think. I thought I worked it out. Again, without ever trying the authentic thing. We started serving it, and we were validated by a bunch of Americans coming over sort of the first 6 months and saying, this is very similar to what we're used to. So that was validation. I have not tried the real thing probably for 2 years after we started serving it.
Wow. So you have tried the real thing in America?
Real thing. That's right.
From memory, how does it compare?
Look, we're doing the right thing. We're very, very close, if not the same. Yeah.
And it grew so quickly. Was that kind of, you do a lot of like entertaining things on social media. You've got Thor's Hammer, like eating challenges, monthly specials. Do you think that that's what contributed to the growth?
Somewhat. Initially, we just ran it as a pure hospitality operation without really doing a lot of marketing. We started doing some tests on organic social media probably 3 years later after we introduced that. And we saw that the more out there we created the dishes, the more traction the content had. And that also grew organically. So we started doing a little bit of experimentation here and there, and we saw that worked. So we did a little bit more, and then we went all in. So to a point where we have our own team, in-house team now, creating somewhere around 140 pieces of content a week.
Oh my gosh, creating content. Like in-house creating content a week. Far out.
Absolutely. And full-time people
You like
working.
big numbers, like 4 tons of meat, 5 million followers, 140 pieces of content. You aim high.
No, this is just what happens.
It's just organic.
I had no plan to do it. The plan is to actually do more. I have a plan to do that.
You have more.
Where we got to now, it was reasonably organic in that we just kept doing more of what worked.
So it wasn't really a huge strategy behind it. It was kind of, fun, it was working, and so you doubled down on what worked?
There was we didn't just wake up and say, okay, we're now going to build this massive organic social presence. We just kept at it. Try to resolve what worked and do more of what worked. It is, though, if you ask me, do I know what makes things go viral? I have no idea.
Bummer.
I really don't.
I was hoping you'd tell us the secret.
I couldn't tell you. I do know one thing, right? Yeah. It's quantity. That's what makes everything go viral.
Statistics, right? Like the more you put out, something's going to stick.
That's right, as opposed to quality. So that's my belief. And there are other people that will disagree with me, is that when it comes to organic social, quality is great. The problem is that you just don't know what's going to hit the algorithm such that it's going to let it out. So if you do enough of it, something will actually happen. And this happens to us all the time. We consistently, I mean, every month we get posts that do 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. And we get about 200 million views a month on our socials every month. And it's quantity. I mean, we have an idea what we're doing now, but it's I still couldn't give you a formula for do this and it'll go viral.
Which, I mean, that's really good to hear, because so many coaches and, consultants jump online and are like, buy my course, I've got the secret formula to going viral. And you can get really obsessive over it. But I agree with you. I don't think that there's a formula. Do you think that the way posts are received on, say, Instagram versus TikTok are different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are different.
Yeah,
The algorithm is different. The algorithm has different weights for certain things. And they're definitely Facebook, Insta, and TikTok are different. And what happens is that we often put exactly the same piece of content without modifying it across all channels, and it'll work completely different on every channel.
Wow. So do you focus your attention on any one platform, or are you kind of...
We don't, because it's too much work.
That would be a lot of work.
To modify each one. We're beginning to now, because we are working on an AI piece of software that's going to take our content and then customize it to each.
That's cool. Are you going to sell that?
Platform. I don't know. We're doing so much stuff for ourselves
that's so
potentially valuable to others.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking about sort of monetizing it from that perspective. Just it's going to help us do more. So if we take all of our content, which we don't customize today, and start customizing it, in theory, it should do better.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow. Well, I want to talk a bit more about that. Staying on social media for a minute, do you think that, because I mean, the following you've got is, some restaurants would just dream of having that kind of following. Do you think it converts to sales and to customers coming through the doors?
Yeah, it's interesting. So we have a unique problem, which is unusual. Our problem is the reverse of everybody else's problem. Everyone else doesn't have the reach that we do. And what they're trying to chase is the reach, and that reach will then hopefully give them conversions. we're trying to convert our reach. So we have the reach, which is greater than pretty much everybody else's, but we need to capture more of it as a conversion. What our presence does for us, and this is after a lot of sort of trying to understand what's actually happening, is that it makes our brand footprint way bigger than we are. So we only have 6 venues, but we're known internationally. We're an international brand, right? People trust us in that they've seen our stuff online for years, and it just pops into their feed, and they see us over and over. So when it comes to franchising, we don't really have to explain anything. They already know. They already know who we are. If we were just a restaurant with 6 venues, they're going to have lots and lots of questions about what are you, who are you, will it work in this place, in that place. We don't have to deal with that because it's sort of. But what we are not getting enough of is that conversion. We're obviously getting some conversion, and it's not little, but we need more. And given our reach, we should have more, and we're not getting it. And that's something that we're working on right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you get a lot of your franchising inquiries because of social media?
We're getting some, but we're also getting our franchising leads at a very reasonable cost because the brand supports it.
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I'm in the franchising world, and it can be really expensive to even generate leads. So I love that your social media is kind of serving 2 purposes, the customer, brand awareness, but also the franchising side of things and the growth there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really
We're
cool.
finding it fascinating in that our lead cost is somewhere between half and a tenth of what the industry standard is.
Oh, wow. I think that's the direction it's going to go in as well. Typically, franchising used to be list franchises for sale on a directory of some sort on a website, go to, physical expos, and people have to physically be there or go to the directory specifically to find an opportunity. I mean, you're in front of them every day as they're scrolling. So
yeah, and we're not doing much to actually get leads. It's just simple meta ads, and that's it. Nothing else. We don't do any other advertising of any kind. We've got direct inquiries coming in, and that happens. We've got probably 2 or 3 a week that are coming in, and then the rest are supplemented with just meta ads that we should be spending more money on actually on that, because we are converting. Not that we're converting them, but we are converting those into leads at a reasonable price.
Yeah, that's really cool. You've obviously come into this industry, as we spoke about before, without that hospitality restaurant experience. Do you think that has actually served you well? That you've spotted things maybe someone in hospitality wouldn't?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. There were there's a benefit and a negative here. The positive is that yes, I was able to spot some gaps that look weird from my view. The negative is that there was this learning curve that was very steep, very sharp. A bunch of mistakes were made that maybe a hospitality professional wouldn't have made. But on the other hand, hospitality industry that I walked into does things in a strange way. Strange way compared to more standard
Your
business
traditional.
operations. Yeah, more standard business operations. It also has the people that work in hospitality, they're somewhat different as well. They have different ideas. Being in a kitchen is very hard. It's an extremely difficult job. So the people that self-select themselves to be in that job are those people that can actually handle a very difficult job. But they're also the type of people that you need to have a certain approach to work with. And then the front of house is extremely transient because everybody that works in front of house, they're on a way to something else, right? They're either students or they want a career in something else. Nobody wants a career in Australia in hospitality. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but the majority don't. So how do you make people who clearly see this job as a transient job, whether they have it or not, it doesn't really matter a year from now. How do you make them interested in doing their best? Is an interesting question that I had to answer, because it's not, if somebody finds a particular job in an office, they're interested in the job because they want to stay in the job for a while.
Might be a career.
That's not what happens. So answer to your question is, it's both. I saw some gaps which were interesting that we hopefully closed, that allows us to be a bit more efficient. And also we had some failures that we wouldn't have had if we had more experience in that.
What made you kind of keep going when you were making these mistakes, and hospitality is a whole new world for you. You know, what stopped you from just going back to your comfort zone? What you knew, property, marketing?
Yeah, I asked myself that question many times. And generally, I consider hospitality as a rule to be an extremely complex business. Lots and lots of moving parts. In fact, I would suggest it's more complicated than a lot of other businesses. Not all other businesses, but a lot of other businesses. And also, it is extremely low return on effort business. So property development is so much higher return on effort. It's just not funny. They're night and day. That's one of the reasons why I think hospitality has the highest failure rate of all businesses out there. Right? There's builders and hospitality. Right? They're the highest always. Because people, I think, consider entering hospitality and think that it's a simple business because they can just corporate escapees enter and go, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to open a cafe or I'm going to run a restaurant. And I think it's somehow an easy entrance into business world, and it's not. It's probably harder than something else. But ultimately, I stuck with it for a while, just being comfortable doing the thing over and over again, until I decided, well, I have to either sort of build it and make something out of it, or get out because I shouldn't stay. And that's really COVID brought that on. And straight after COVID, we decided we need to expand.
In addition to being your host, I'm also the founder of Legalite. If you're looking for a law firm that can work with your bold ideas, not against them, you can join the movement for better legals at www.legalite.com.au or follow us on Instagram at legalite_au. And you obviously care so much about, quality, the brand, integrity. Now that you're expanding and quite, like large scale nationally, internationally, how do you feel about letting go a little bit of control and, trusting that your franchisees are going to deliver a consistent experience?
Look, my view generally of business is that if you are working in the business, you don't have a business. You have a job, right? So my goal always from day one is that if I'm running a business, then I need to set up enough system structures, processes, so that I don't have to be doing anything. I need to be working on the business, and that's really where I'm at right now. I'm still managing the marketing. Marketing is a huge part of what we do, so that's directly under my control, and I'm sort of on top of the business CEO, but everything is being done. The venues are sort of self-sustaining. They work themselves. In regard to franchisees, it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Right. So certainly, I did not expect some of the things that are popping up. So I'm seeing things that I didn't think would actually exist, but they do. It's fascinating. And the way to deal with it is just systems, more processes, more oversight of those systems and processes. That's how I'm seeing it. Am I ever going to get to a point where the franchisees will be as capable as we are? I am not sure. That question has not been answered yet.
Yeah. So your advice really to other business owners would be let go of control, but put in systems and processes first.
Yeah, lots of them.
Yeah.
I think our franchise manual is about 1,200 pages now.
Yeah.
Right, and it's growing all the time. So every time we open, and we only have 3, but every time we open each one, we just build more. We see what didn't work, and we just build processes around that.
Yeah, amazing. Which leads me into my next question around whether you are or aren't using AI for systems and streamlining processes. But I am really curious about how you're using AI currently, because I know you to be someone who's always been really forward thinking in that space. You were big on crypto for a while, and I'm really interested to hear how you're using AI currently.
Yeah, we sort of really dove headlong into AI as of about. We've been using it as a standard chatbot, just talking to it like most people up until about January this year. But enough things have changed in January this year, that's 2026, that it got smart enough that it would actually be able to build applications. So what we've started doing since then is we've been building applications to replace our tech stack, basically replace the SaaS software that we're currently buying, but also build very custom application that we need specifically, and completely brand new stuff that doesn't exist. You can't buy it.
Can't get it on the market.
Can't get it on the market.
Can you give me an example?
One is under we're getting patents, so no.
Okay.
I can't.
We'll keep that one under seal then.
But others. An example. So we built our own voucher system. So you can buy vouchers, gift vouchers from us, but also we can issue vouchers, and that system also tracks all the vouchers that were issued between all venues. Which is unique. We can't buy that, because if a venue issues a voucher themselves, then there has to be some sort of a cost tracing between between the head office and each individual.
Oh, totally.
Venue. And right now, we have not found something that's off the shelf that we can actually use.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is, because again, being in the franchising world, I've been asked that question a few times by clients. How do we track this? It's all kind of done, in the back end system.
So we had to build one, and
it's
running. Another thing that we've just built is we've built a loyalty system and an offer system that ends up living in your Google Wallet or Apple Wallet. So
that's cool.
So now we can create a loyalty system and offers where you don't need to download an app. It's not about email. It's always with you, and we can track it. And we can create additional offers and do all of that. So basically, we're digitizing everything. We've just built our own CRM system for ourselves. Ultimately, it's all going to be tied together so that these offers with the vouchers, with digital wallets, all going to be talking to each other, living together. We've rebuilt our streaming stack. So what happens right now is every restaurant has about 3 to 5 TVs streaming our social media posts. Basically, they're entertaining, so people sit there, eat, and see what else they missed out on. But normally, you don't advertise yourself, right? It's tacky. But because we're doing it with humor and it's interesting, people actually watch it like a show.
Yeah, it's like Third Wave TV.
Basically, yes. And what happens is that right now we're paying $25 a screen per month to a SaaS software that does it for us. We just rebuilt it, so it's going to cost us nothing. Etc. So we just we're committed to rebuilding our entire stack using AI plus very custom stuff.
Yeah, wow. How are you learning to do all of this stuff?
I like it.
Self-taught.
Yeah,
again, like entering the hospitality world, you self-taught how to make American barbecue. Is it the same kind of approach with AI?
It is. I've had some technology background. So I haven't studied it, but I had some technology background. So I'm still a layman when it comes to heavy duty tech, but I understand enough of it that, and with the current AI capabilities, and this is what changed, is that you need a little bit of understanding, not too much, and whatever you're missing, it'll fill in. Right?
Yeah. So do you literally ask like the AI? Okay.
Yeah, you can ask. One of the things that I encourage everybody is to change how they think about AI from the perspective of, it used to be a chatbot, so you would prompt it, hopefully correctly, to get the right answer or to get an answer that you wanted. Now, prompting essentially is dead. What you do is you give it context and an outcome that you want to achieve, and then you ask it to come up with a prompt to be able to deliver that outcome.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be so much better at creating that prompt for itself than I will ever be.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So this way, you don't have to know. You have to know your outcome. You have to know your context, which you do. Where you start out with that, and then you let it build the thing and build the answer, build the question to give you the answer.
Yeah.
You ask it to confirm with you any missing gaps in information that it needs to have to give you the right answer. It'll ask you questions. You can respond with those questions, and just keep going until it goes, okay, I know everything I need now. I'm going to now write the prompt and deliver the response.
Yeah. I think that's a really smart way to do it. I have also personally moved away from one single question and answer with AI. Sometimes I will sit there for 40 minutes chatting with Claude until I'm comfortable to go, okay, we've got everything we need now. And in the back end as well, I upload further context that's going to be applicable across all my chats or projects.
Mm-hmm.
And if Claude updates any of that context during a chat, I update that source document and then upload it again or tell it to update it. So there's just so much I think that you can do with AI that people are just it's changing so quickly, on a weekly basis almost, that it is hard to keep up with, for someone listening. Sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming keeping up with how do I use AI today in, June 2026, because it's so different to January 2026.
It is. But I think I sometimes get the anxiety. It's like, do I know everything? Should I do? And I do. I spend time listening to information to try to keep up to as much of the latest stuff as possible. But ultimately, I think if one accepts that AI is now smart enough, and it is smart enough to basically deliver pretty much any application you like, and work with you on any topic, right? And I believe that's true today, and it's only going to get better tomorrow and the day after.
Yeah.
Then you just go for it.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't really matter if you know the latest or if you don't know the latest, as long as you use either the OpenAI ChatGPT codex of the latest model, whatever it is. Today it's 5.5, but 5.6 is coming out tomorrow, whatever. And or Claude, these two are probably premier. You can use others, but I think these are the smartest ones, and you just settle on one and just use it.
Yeah.
Right? I think they're close enough now that they will give you a good enough answer no matter what, unless you're doing absolutely cutting edge stuff, and most people are not doing that. But the point is that today AI is essentially the smartest person you know in every field that exists anywhere, right? For free. Well,
Yes.
it's $300 a month. It's free, right?
Yeah.
If you're on a maximum plan, it's $300 a month, right? But what you get is you've got the smartest, the most knowledgeable assistant that you could have ever gotten for $300 a month.
Yeah, totally.
Just
leverage
use it.
Does that scare you at all? The thought of, how far AI can go and replacing roles and, all of that?
I've changed my mind twice now. So when AI just came out, I said, that's it. All computer operated jobs are gone. So in other words, if you're sitting behind a computer, your job is toast, basically. That was my view for the first 2 years. And now it's changed literally completely opposite to that. What I'm seeing in reality is that AI is actually not taking jobs right now. AI is creating jobs.
Yeah.
But it's creating somewhat different jobs. So there's AI infrastructure, and the amount of infrastructure they have to build is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that requires lots and lots of jobs. We don't have embodied AI. We don't have robots doing this yet, and we probably won't have for a little while. But also, because people or businesses are becoming so much more efficient, what they're doing is that they're not necessarily saying, okay, well, we can do what we used to do in a week in half a day. That doesn't mean that they now remove all the people that were working during that week. What they're doing is they're filling up those people with more work.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. Well, that's what I'm doing. I don't want to make anyone redundant, but we're leveraging AI to do more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that what normally happens with businesses is not only they're getting people to do more work, possibly more interesting work, possibly more valuable work, but they're also saying that they've got even more opportunity to do it because of AI. So now they start hiring people to do even more of that more valuable work. And that's really what's happening now. And the other interesting thing that seems to be happening is that my view was that grads are gone, basically. Works for grad is, but what's changing is that I think businesses are beginning to see that AI native people are much more valuable than the ones that are already in business. So there's a rotation going on right now. Those people, middle management, unfortunately, the ones that are not AI native, they're being rotated with the younger generation who have less experience but have much more capability when it comes to AI.
Yeah.
And when you add AI to less experience, the net result is greater than whatever you're replacing with more experience.
Yeah. It's a wild time. Like, I don't think we're really going to see the ripple effects in the business world until it kind of settles a little bit. Because we don't know which roles are being replaced, are being rotated, as you said, and, the next generation coming up through the ranks. I feel like it's going to be a few years until we see where it all lands.
I agree. I think for the first time in a long time, no one can see past 5 years.
Yeah, totally. That is very true. And I mean, that would come back to people's business strategies, like the 5-year business strategy.
What 5 years?
Non-existent. Let's do 12 months.
I mean, even 12 months is difficult now.
Yeah.
Because you can sort of have an outline.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to change one of my second last question to you, because initially I was going to ask you, what's your vision for the next 10 years? So let's say, where do you see the business going in the next 12 months? But I do want to know, what is your bigger vision for Third Wave?
That's reasonably clear because we have a bigger vision. So I'll start with that, and then we can sort of chart a path there. So the bigger vision, and this is what basically I settled on, is that these hospitality businesses, you can't exit them. Nobody buys them on any more than 1 time's earnings, and that's it. And
is that right?
It makes zero sense selling a business on 1 time's earnings, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe it makes sense for somebody, great, but it doesn't make any sense to me. So ultimately, I see the way forward is to build a big enough business that there could be a substantial exit through an IPO, for example. If the business has system sales of 150, 200 million, give or take, it's probably just big enough to actually do a liquidity event of some kind, and that's an IPO. We see that happening 3 to 5 years from now. We can reach that sort of those numbers. We see at the end of this year, we're probably going to be doing 40 already. So it's not a big jump from 40 to 150.
No.
Not that we see. But generally, our view is that we need to open 30 to 50 venues in the next 3 to 5 years in Australia and globally. We really want to go overseas. And that'll get us to that number. And at that point, we've got a choice. We can either do that, or the business might be profitable enough that we don't have to do anything. It'll just be self-sufficient, and we've got enough funding to keep expanding. But just grow it to something reasonable, not 1 or 2 venues that's producing something, but you can't sell it.
Yeah. I think that's incredible vision, and I have no doubt you'll achieve that.
Thank you.
You're a very driven person and achieving big numbers. So next 12 months then, what's the focus?
So by the end of this year, maybe into Q1, we're opening another 6 or 7.
Oh, wow.
And this is all sort of pre-planned already. So we've pre-sold 4 more franchises. They just need to open.
Yeah.
And we're opening another 2 or 3 corporate ones. But we're also seeing that we probably have enough lead flow that we can get to 1 per month opening for about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. The plan is from Q1 next year to be opening 1 a month.
Yeah, amazing.
Ask me a year from now if this actually happened.
We'll have you back for part 2. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Won't hold you to anything.
So we'll see. I mean, it's new for us. We've never opened at this cadence.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to change our business significantly to provide enough resourcing to get that happening.
And keep up with the demand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exciting.
I guess.
Well, lastly, I would love to know, what's one piece of advice you've got for someone who has a bold idea of their own?
Use AI, basically. Today, I think you can do so much scoping out using AI that you couldn't do before. The amount of data, the amount of resources you have by using AI, is so much more that whatever your idea is, you are going to be better prepared at execution if you use AI today than at any time in the past. Both in understanding the limitations, understanding the benefits, understanding how to go to market, understanding best practice, because you can just request it and it's going to be provided for you. Pre-building processes, systems, websites. You can roll out MVP today in a space of a day at zero cost, right? And test ideas. All of that is possible, literally at no cost. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's
sometimes I wonder, what am I doing this? Because there's so much.
You could
more.
go into like AI consulting.
Potentially, but we can also build software that is going to be, if things are valuable for us, it's going to be valuable for others,
for other people, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's really great advice, and you're living proof of leveraging AI, leveraging people, and just making something, an industry that you'd never been in before, a reality, and achieving so much success. So it's been such a pleasure to have you, Greg, and I'm sure the listener will get so much out of this conversation.
Thank you. Thanks. Time went by really quickly.
Yeah, I know it did. It flew by. Thanks again. If you loved what you heard, make sure you follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. Or even better, leave us a review. And if you have a bold idea of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Check out the show notes to get in touch.